I thought I would talk about some concepts today. First of all, the concept of meaning. In a very few seconds, one can establish the definition of meaning, because it is one which is current and everyone has an idea what meaning is, what meaning means in conventional sense. But if you ask questions like, for example, what does the word rose mean? Well, you go all the way back, as Karl Popper would say, into infinite regress of definition. You actually end up with a tautological sense of a rose being a rose, something which Gertrude Stein would approve of. But the way I see meaning is probably in the sense of a department store. This is, by the way, meaning in terms of science and humanities. Meaning has its parameters, its remit, established by a field, a set of inquiries. What something means is within a department floor. So, for example, everything which is in the cosmetics department has reference to cosmetics, and that is, as Collingwood would say, the absolute presupposition which one could ask. I mean, in this sense, if we ask why perfume, then we have to go out of that particular floor, go up the elevator, and probably end up on the roof and look upwards in order to ask the question, why perfume? It's not something which is going to be answered within the practical or the practicalities of working there, or perhaps some customer from the outside might, a philosopher might make that inquiry, but it would not be one which would be greeted with interest in terms of functionality. In fact, if a lot of customers went into a department store and at various counters would say, why T-shirt or why coffee? Well, they wouldn't be served. And so it is in some ways, I suppose, with the question of particular sciences, departments, fields. Everywhere there is some kind of discrete structure. That's not to say that meaning within these particular structures or on these floors of reasoning and inquiry are not dynamic. They are. It's possible to have many dynamic activities, events, in terms of inquiries. But there are questions which can be asked at different floors. When we look at the question of bacteria, we're dealing with something at one level, and it is apparent that often that particular floor of inquiry will color and shape everything in the way that we approach the problem. And so if we want to have another perspective, we probably would like to have some fresh air and go to the elevator, up to the roof garden, and it's there where perhaps all the people from all the various different floors might meet and congregate and discuss things, and in a, well, I was going to say civilized manner, but that's not so important these days. Anyway, I better stop now because this is going to be saved.